there's a lot of noise in the news space nowadays. You don't know at which point in time is this the latest news, is this the most relevant.
Just don't worry about the system. It will handle our messy thoughts. Yeah.
You can see that Claude Code has already created all the things that he said it will create in that short amount of time. That's what's amazing, because this project would probably have taken way longer in the past, like for an engineering team or even a developer to write.
I think I've been struggling with that for like the past 1 month now, but we did it in 1 hour. I think the speed at which we did it was very scary.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Code Riff podcast. I'm Eric, a vibe coder and non-technical dude trying to code with English. Along with me, I have Yaohong, my AI orchestrator, and I have a friend, Wachel, as well, who's joining us as an ESG analyst in a bank. Right, Wachel, do you mind introducing yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hi everyone, I'm Wachel with a W. My full-time role is sustainable finance analyst in a bank. And what I do mainly is supporting companies to raise financing for green and sustainable use of proceeds. Yeah.
All right. I have no idea what that means. But all good. Your main task today is about scraping the news, right, on ESG. Do you mind sharing a bit more about your problem and why that is important to you?
Well, this particular problem that I'm looking at of scraping the news actually comes from needing to keep up with the ESG news all the time. So in this space, there's a lot of volatility, a lot of changes going on, not just from a sectorial perspective, but also from a policy and regulatory perspective. So then myself and my team, we have to constantly read up on the news and to keep abreast of the constant changes, because it might materially affect client's business, for example, and also our recommendations. So one of the challenges that I face is there's a lot of noise in the news space nowadays. You don't know at which point in time is this the latest news, is this the most relevant. So it becomes like a daily task that I push myself to do. But over time, I realize when I get busy, it's challenging to keep up with the news. So I thought AI could be a very useful tool to automate this particular task.
And from our messages, you've tried end-to-end, but it was a bit difficult to get the outputs that you wanted. Any other challenges with that?
I think depending on the prompts that you give, some AI models give false news, I would say. So for example, the headlines that they put together, it's a mix of various different news. And when you prompt further, it says, oh, this is just an example. It doesn't really give you the most accurate or factual news. And that's one of the challenges that I face.
Yeah, it's a very common problem, right? Because it's a hallucination by the models, right? They are trained on past data. And what happens is that if they can't find actually, they also have issues with dates, because today is a foreign concept. You know, it's quite a known problem, right? You quite find it hard to say what's today, right? I see it quite often. So it will just fabricate a date, and you will maybe even fabricate the news sources based on what it's, because at the end of it is approximation, right? They just try to guess what you want, and they give you something that seems actually possible. Yeah, so I assume that what you did was find me the news for today, and then you try to parse it from there, right? In NAN or something.
Something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
I try to be a bit more specific, but it still gives me the same problem. I think maybe I can share more about the manual way of doing it first. What I did every single day in the morning was to read the news on the train. Then once I hit my desk, I will look through the different news sites like Reuters, Economic Times, ESG news. And I will compile them alongside my team in Hong Kong as well. We will compile them into like a Excel spreadsheet. And one of the columns will be the title, the date, the category that we're looking at, as well as the main insight that we see in that particular news. And we try to do it on a consistent daily basis, but there are times where we are just so swamped with other work that even taking that 15-20 minutes in the morning becomes a bit tedious. So I then try to use this AI prompt to help me automate a bit. So now my workflow becomes, okay, I read the news in the morning. I created a WhatsApp ESG news chat with my team. So we'll send the news links in there. But we still have our Excel sheet, which I then try to use the AI prompt to generate the news at my desk and afterwards populate in. But of course, I'm still trying to find the most optimal way. That's why, like in the screenshot, I tried a Word document instead for AI to generate.
But what you really want is the Excel that you can kind of prioritize, is it? Or
honestly, I'm still trying. There's no perfect answer to this.
And I guess you just want to inform your team, right? Basically, with all the news that you have. Are you the only one reading, or is everyone else reading and trying to put it in as well?
I think in general, everyone is trying to put it in the Excel. But of course, rather than just sharing the news, we want to move towards higher level discussions. So focusing more on the insights of the news rather than saying, oh, here is the news. Let's all read it together.
Interesting. And how do you get to the insights?
Usually we would spend a bit more time to either discuss or brainstorm together on our own.
All right.
And rather than spending time looking through the news, I rather spend more time with my team to discuss. So I think that is kind of like the trajectory that I'm going with this initiative.
All right. Very interesting. Now I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen as a non-coder, and we're going to try to figure out how we can automate this. I think we've spent about around 11 minutes talking through this. So hopefully in the next 50 minutes, we can kind of find a way. And Yaohong, as my master AI orchestrator, you can feel free to command me. And also, Wachel, if you don't mind, we're actually recording this so that we can also use what we speak about to prompt into the AI itself. And we're using this thing called Claude Code. Have you heard of Claude Code?
I heard of Claude, but not Claude Code.
Okay.
What's that actually?
So in a layman term, Claude Code is, you can think of it as Claude Computer, where it basically is able to kind of go into your computer and edit the files in it. And one of the use cases that's been very good is coding. So yeah, it can basically create a lot of files on your computer and create a lot of code as well, which has allowed people to come up with automations from the ground up, basically. And it's available with any Claude subscription. So we are not sponsored by them, but if you pay like $30 Sing dollars for Claude, you should get some usage of the Claude Code, even though mine is a little more. Yeah, I'm on this thing called the terminal. It looks very intimidating, but actually all you kind of need to learn is how to go in and out of folders. This is basically my base folder. Basically how I set it up was I went to the internet, I typed Claude Code setup command. I copied this little thing over here. I pasted it in and then it downloaded it for me. And then I needed to just sign in to my account. And then all I need to do is just type Claude. And then it will start. And Yaohong, you can stop me once I make any security hazards.
First thing I would do is to actually create a folder instead of your root directory. So do a /exit. Yeah.
Thank you. I will /exit, and then I will go into my desktop. So CD just means like going into something.
Change directory. CD is change directory.
Thank you for your lesson. Oh my God. This is great.
This is how we used to do talk to computers in the past, before we had all this fancy UI nowadays, right?
Yeah, okay. So I have this thing where I will just go into it. So as you can see, this is not rocket science. I just learned this thing called CD, and then I just use it. And there's just a few commands that I know how to manually do. So I'll start in this little folder. Can I start, Yaohong?
Yeah, now you can press stop.
Okay. And actually, just to confess, before this, I actually fed some of Wachel's thoughts into Claude Code, and then I went into this thing called plan mode, which I press Shift and Tab for.
So you can see at the bottom, yeah.
So basically, you can click Shift and Tab to move to plan mode, and I actually fed in some of what you just shared, Wachel, and then that actually resulted in Claude asking me a series of questions, like how many news sources do you want? And then it actually spent like 10 minutes building something. And
maybe we can walk through how do we prompt it in a planning mode. Like what do you usually go through? What's the thought process, right?
Yeah. So maybe now I'm going to use this. So some people use this thing called Whisperflow, or there are other like dictation tools to prompt. But how we're going to
literally talk to the computer.
Yeah. So let me just get this out. And honestly, prompting has gotten way easier. Like I don't think you need to be a master at prompting anymore.
Yeah, now it's quite smart already.
Yeah. So I think how we can do this is maybe I'll just start the prompt, and then Wachel, feel free to add in if you want to. Let me start. Claude Code, here's what we want to build. We want to build an ESG news scraper that is able to get the news from mainly three sources. Let's say Reuters, ESG News, Financial Times. And then you are to do this daily in the morning and send it to the user on what do you prefer, Wachel?
Word document.
In a Word document, I can give you a sample of the Word document, and I'm just gonna copy and paste it in by pressing Command V from what you had.
I cannot see because it's an image. No?
So now there's an image here that you sent previously. So in a Word document, and you have to do this daily, as mentioned before. Wachel, any thoughts on this in terms of like more specific things you want?
Are we able to customize the kind of news that we get rather than picking the top 10 headlines?
All right. So what kind of news do you want? What kind of news do you want? Yeah.
What are the filters?
Yeah. Describe it in your own words. Very natural words. Yeah.
Okay. Can we get the news from 3 different buckets? So the first will be by... Oh no, but it could be overlapping.
It's fine. Just do it. It's
fine. Just
Just don't worry about the system. It will handle our messy thoughts. Yeah.
Okay. So one would be on by sector. So maybe the top 4 to 5 sectors would be the ones that the whole world are looking at: oil and gas, steel, cement, maritime, aviation. Then afterwards, could I look at the policy and regulation updates for these sectors? And the last one would be on current transactions in the market. So for example, any firms in these sectors that have raised sustainable financing in the time period that I specify.
Okay, so any time period that you would specify, or?
But since it's a daily news, it would just be like for that day, right?
Okay, yeah, it's daily.
Yeah.
Okay, daily.
Daily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please ignore any files that were coded here and make a clean folder so that we can code in it.
Don't do that. Don't do that. You should have started in a empty drive.
Okay, the thing is, as I confessed just now,
Yeah.
I actually started coding already. So
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I'm gonna
so
make
this
make
one.
a
This
clean
one
folder.
usually we should ignore that. No, you don't do this. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking to the audience. Yes.
Okay. Wait. So before we go on, usually I would add in one more line to inform the model to think carefully through our requirements, plan out what needs to be done, return back to me a plan of the implementation and the requirements.
All right. I'm gonna add that in now. So how I do that is I press Option Enter to go to the next line, or you can press forward / Enter. I think I'm not gonna try that now. So yeah, as you can see, can I press Enter? You guys okay? Anything to add?
It's okay. Let's just run it. Yeah.
All right. I mean, if you make any mistakes, we can always press Escape, and then of course, we can always edit as we go.
It's fine because now we go into planning mode. It would come back with a plan and we can modify the plan before we start implementing.
Yeah. So the
Instead
reason
of jumping straight in. Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna ask for some like bash commands. I'm just gonna allow it, and I'm gonna press 2 if you allow me to. Yaohong.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
Okay.
Usually I'll
press
just run
2.
dangerously, so I don't need to keep. No, lies. I'm just joking.
Yeah.
So what happens here is that for Wachel's knowledge is that because the AI is actually managing files on your laptop, you want to be sure that what it's doing is actually safe. So that wall of text that you saw, what it meant on, for example, this is asking whether we should read this URL, right? And you will say, oh, actually, doesn't matter, right? Yes, right? But nowadays, we must also be careful of, and we just keep pressing it enter first. So what happens is that because the LMs, they are reading things on the web, there could be what we call prompt injection security issues. So someone can make a command that says, make me a burrito, right? If you're an AI model. And the AI model in the past, in like a few months ago, they would literally do that, and yeah, it's a security issue. But of course, now the models are a bit smarter. They have a few more safeguards, right? They'll be like, unless the instructions come from the user, blah, 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 then it would be fine. Yeah, but in any case, those are small things that we don't think about, but can happen. So I've seen some funny examples of this on LinkedIn, right? Because LinkedIn usually bots will be scraping profiles, right? And I saw this guy who actually encoded a message on his LinkedIn using fake Cyrillic text that looks like Russian, but it's not. In fact, what it told if you try to encrypt it, so when I read it, I didn't understand what it was, right? So being curious, I copy and paste, not very, very wise, but I copy and paste and try to ask ChatGPT to tell me what this was, and ChatGPT told me back, this is not allowed. It's actually dangerous.
Yeah. So I mean that's why Claude Code is a pretty. I mean, it can be a dangerous tool.
Yeah, it can be dangerous, but I mean, not to scare you. When you use models like Anthropic's Claude or ChatGPT's OpenAI, they already have certain safeguards behind this.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least you and if you trust a certain URLs, especially if you are reading news from Reuters and all that, we can assume that it's trusted lah. Right. So you give it instruction, say, okay, so now what you see here, right, it's a bash command. This one looks scary. right? I will bet that Eric doesn't read, he just press enters anyway.
It's using Python, right? It's using Python. It's checking the
It's trying
Python.
to call Python. So Python is a programming language, right? It's
Okay,
trying
we've
to
done that
figure
in
out-
business school.
Okay.
Oh wow, okay, good. Yeah.
Oh, pip,
So
pip
now it's
sounds
trying to
like
see
installing something.
installing stuff, yeah. So it's the package manager in
Yeah.
Python.
So
trying to
there's something
figure
very
out-
interesting here for non-technical folks. There's this new
Oh, now
feature
there's new
called
one.
Control
Oh, I
plus
didn't know
E.
that.
So if you press Control E, right, it will load the explanation on it.
Hey, that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very cool. And it says like list all the installed Python packages and it says low risk. Go. Okay. I'm just gonna press go.
But I'm just curious though, how does this compare with NAN? I was trying that online AI like chatbot to create like my own news chatbot. What's the difference between this and that one?
So NAN is a lot more. I think it's designed for humans to read in a way that you can see the workflow that you want, right? Like what's the exact workflow that you want, what's the exact data sources that you want. And you have to actually manually kind of piece it together, right? Or
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a way to prompt it as well, but you do have to manually kind of show what you want. Correct me if I'm wrong, man.
Okay, so
yeah.
in Wachel's use case, NAN actually could work because it's more of a deterministic workflow, right? You have fixed sources, you want fixed type of news, right? And then you want to perform certain actions that are pretty fixed, right? Like reading the news, analyzing it, and categorizing it, and storing it into a Excel file, for example.
Yeah.
So actually, NAN would actually be my preferred choice to run this instead of scaring everyone with Claude Code. But in the spirit of the program, right, we just want to show that how we can use something like this to create something even more sophisticated. Because NAN, in a way, is part of a larger workflow or pipeline, right? You have input A and then you turn it B and then C and then you output as D. With Claude Code, actually, then it becomes quite interesting because you can still do the same thing, but at the step D with your output, you can actually do something else. Maybe you could build a small application, right? Or even a dashboard, things that can make the presentation of the news more interesting, right? Yeah, so it gives you a lot more open-ended choices, I would say. Yeah.
Is it considered more dynamic?
It's
If
definitely more
it's,
dynamic. Yeah, it's definitely more dynamic. But of course, you need a bit more technical knowledge. But they have been trying to reduce that friction. Okay, so now what do we have here?
All right,
So
Wachel, we need your input. Your sample document has 3 sections, but you verbally described 3 different buckets. So which structure should we build?
I think
You can just type. You can just talk. Yeah, to give it feedback, and I'll just put it here.
You can use 1, 2, or 3, or something else.
okay, let's go with the structure in the sample document. I think that one is a lot more
Match the
comprehensive
sample document. Okay. Is this
compared to what I just said at the top of my head.
all right? Is this the full production version or the 1 hour podcast build scope? Okay, I'm gonna say podcast build scope.
Podcast build scope.
Yeah. And then how should a daily digest be delivered? What's your preferred delivery?
Wow, actually having a Telegram channel for daily news would be awesome.
Okay, Telegram
okay.
is awesome. Okay, let's go.
Yeah. Later, we still need to show how to set up a Telegram bot
Yeah. All right. Let's smash it.
if we have time. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying that too.
Yeah.
It didn't work
you're
so well.
It's okay. At least you tried. I'm quite surprised that.
Yeah.
I'm quite happy to hear that people are trying out things.
And you can
Totally.
see Haiku here is like a smaller model. So it's using that. So this is like the epitome of like agentic AI, right? Because it is literally running many different agents to do different tasks. So if I press Control O, you can kind of see like what they're doing here. They're kind of creating a response, in terms of what is essential. We need to create a new Telegram bot and all that kind of stuff. Oh, this is the response. Wait, let me
That's
press
the plan, yeah.
escape. Oh no, it is the plan.
It's part of the final plan.
I see. It's still
Right,
thinking.
because you selected Telegram, so it's giving you instructions on how to set up the Telegram bot.
Yeah.
Right. So as humans, we just follow what the computer tells us. Because there are some things they cannot do yet.
Yeah. Especially when I'm not technical, right? So I do kind of differ a bit more. Okay, this is where I need Yaohong's help. But anyways, I'm just going to scroll up. Here's the plan. So your ESG finance.
Let's read through it first. Yeah.
Analyst at a bank who manually scours news sources every morning. She wants an automated scraper that pulls ESG news, classifies and formats it into a stylized Word document. And then the scope is a podcast build. We want to get a scraper, classifier, and document generator working. Telegram delivery is a stretch goal if time allows.
We caught that, what we said. Yeah.
Amazing.
No daily scheduling.
So it even gave you the document structure formatted in your sample document.
Yep. So the document structure is here.
And let's check the news sources. Is it correct?
News sources, ESG news, ESG today.
The news.
It looks a bit weird, actually. It's a bit weird, right, Wachel? We wanted ESG news. Okay, that was one. ESG news. But then
Google News works, yeah. Google News works because it's searching by...
it aggregates Reuters.
Yeah, exactly. So it's fine. That one is actually the smarter.
You comfortable with this, Wachel?
Yeah, actually, I think this is better.
It's better.
Beyond Reuters.
All right. And of course, FT is paid, right? So I'm not sure how it's going to do that.
I mean, you will just grab the headline.
Yeah. Reuters, FT don't have direct feeds anymore, but the articles surface through Google's News RSS and newsdata.io. Okay, so
project structure.
Please, Yaohong.
You want me to explain what's happening there?
I don't know how much we should explain, but this .env is quite important because it has our API keys. API keys sound quite intimidating, but it connects into a kind of database to pull the information in, like example, an LLM or a news kind of site. So does that make sense, Yaohong?
Well, actually, you should ask Wachel. Did she understand what you just said?
Oh, do you understand what I just said? Yeah, Wachel.
Question mark. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So
it basically...
after API.
It's literally a key that you can open the door to get something, right? So APIs could be a service that you want to perform an action. So having the key says that you are authorized to actually perform the action.
Okay.
So now you're giving the program the key to say that, okay, now you please go and do this, and it will check against whether you're allowed to go through the door, I guess. Yeah.
Is it because Eric is the owner of this, so he holds the API key? Does it?
Yes,
I
correct.
understand that.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So this
of course
on
you
my
can
computer,
share the keys. Yeah, of course you can share keys, but not I would say advice.
You want to keep it very, very secret.
Very secret.
So,
because there are nefarious players out there who scans code that people share online, right, for different API keys. So sometimes there can be API keys for crypto wallets. Right, that is the number one target. If I have this key, I can literally move all your money in your wallet into my wallet.
Okay.
Yeah. So then that would need a command that kind of says, please ignore this .env file, which I typically tell Claude Code to do.
Here it says never committed. Essentially, we are using a version control behind this. So it saves the work that you have done, and then you can iterate on top of it. And the action is called commits. And when we say never committed, means we don't actually save it into the service in the cloud that we use. So I assume that it probably be using GitHub. Yeah. So GitHub, essentially your code that you have written on your computer is now saved on the cloud, right? In this service called GitHub. But if you say this file is not committed, then it's not saved there. It's only on your computer. But someone else, yeah, correct. But someone else, if you give access to your code repository, they can copy your code out into their computer, put in their own API keys, and then they can run the same thing.
It's something like Python code, right? Where you can copy it from GitHub and then you can use it on.
Yes, correct. I mean, that's what we're doing. So actually, Rachel is a bit more technical savvy. So yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, correct. You're right. Okay, on the money.
I understand now.
Yeah.
So now we scroll down. Okay.
Okay. So
usually I don't read the files that they advise. I would say I will look at implementation and see what are they trying to do, right? So dependencies are usually libraries that we'll be using. Because I use this quite often, so I kind of know what they try to do. So feed parser takes in your RSS feeds, right, and passes it out into readable format. Python docx is for you to edit Word documents. Request is to call API. .env is to read your .env file. And Anthropic is to call the Claude API. Yeah, essentially those are the libraries that they will use. Then config is where you store all your keywords that you want to filter for. Later on, you probably can edit from there and add in sources that you want. Yeah.
All right. So maybe if you were just to zoom past this. So Rachel, if you were to just read it out loud, what do you think of this so far?
Okay, so the first step is project setup, creating folder structure. I think one thing I'm confused about at the first step is the dependencies. Like, is this where they what does dependencies mean actually?
Yeah, so these are libraries that are available online that people have written and shared, open source it, right? And you're just borrowing what someone else has done before, so you don't need to reinvent the wheel and do the same thing again.
Okay.
Yeah, because obviously somebody has thought of using Python to create Word documents, right? So that's why that Python docx library exists.
Okay. Yeah. So it's just like copying like templates online to build this project.
Yes. Maybe what I'll do is I'll just get you to look at the approach, right? Building the RSS search URLs, oil and gas, steel, cement, maritime, aviation. And then it will call some API with ESG keywords and filter it to the last 24 hours, right? Because that's what we want.
Yeah.
And then after that, there's step 3, which is AI classification. And we don't have to understand every single word, but we just want to get the sensing of what it's doing. So it batches the articles, sends it to the Claude API, and then Claude basically returns a JSON file so you can think of JSON as like kind of a kind of file structure. Like example, for us, we like to read files in a table. So JSON file is just another way you could read a file, where you will state the section. So the sections of sustainable finance, policy regulation, country news, and irrelevant. And then for the sectors that you mentioned just now, for the country or region, if applicable, and then a summary, impact, and timing. So this is kind of the AI classification. I think it goes a bit into the insights that you were talking about just now.
Yeah. I'm surprised they captured impact.
Yeah. I don't know if we mentioned that in our prompt, honestly.
Was it inside the document?
Maybe it was.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah. If I were to check it again. Oh, there is some timing and impact. Oh, wow. Beautiful. Okay. Good. And then it generates the Word document. And then it runs the... I don't know why it's a main runner, but I guess it just kind of uses a Python script to kind of
chain everything together.
What it's doing. Yeah. Okay. And then step 6, which is a stretch, is to do a Telegram delivery. Just a time check, we have almost 20 more minutes left. So what is needed is API keys, which is news data, Anthropic. I already have these 2 keys, and then Telegram bot token, which will create via bot father, and then your Telegram chat ID. So you just message the bot, and then we grab the ID. But I think I'll do this for you today, just to set up the bot. Verification, run this, open in Word, check the article relevance, check the duplication, and then send via Telegram. So Yaohong, I am very confused now. Do I click clear context or auto accept edits?
Yeah, I think the plan looks quite comprehensive. So you could actually clear the context.
Whew,
It will base whatever that's written in the plan to write the code.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm always very scared of this because like I'm afraid it kind of makes my pollutes my prompt. But
I think because we have already given it has given us a very clear implementation plan, right?
yeah,
So
and we've read
then
through
it's
it.
actually safe. Yeah, we read through it. We actually literally read through it.
Yeah.
Right. Usually, what I would also do is that I would ask it to write down the output this plan locally.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's actually a text file.
Mm.
Then just in case later on halfway through, if it goes a bit bonkers, we can just refer back to the plan.
Okay, but I guess
But
we won't do that today.
we just run it and then we see whether it actually creates its own. Sometimes it does create its own document. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it probably will because it does have a little markdown document here.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
I think in their own system it will. Okay.
Okay.
Clearing it, and I'm also afraid of clearing. Wachel, if you don't get my fear, it's because once you get past a certain length when it comes to the chat, usually you have what you call context rot, or like basically like the system gets so confused that it's not able to produce anything good. And then Claude Code does this thing where it summarizes the previous chat into, and then it just becomes very murky from there. That's why I get a bit worried when I see clear context. But at the same time, I understand that it's a good practice for like developing tools and even making new chats when you're like chatting with ChatGPT or Claude or whatever LLM you're using. But Yaohong, do you have any thoughts on that?
Basically, Wachel is having that moment now. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see on her face that she's like, whoa, man, I'm overwhelmed now. What's happening here?
I'm having context rot.
Okay, so basically, Wachel, how you can think about it is like all these kind of words are getting added to the chat lah, right? If you think of a ChatGPT chat. So that's why we don't want to confuse it.
Yeah.
Okay, enter for pip install.
We can do the keyword tree maybe the next episode if we have a more complex thing to build and we want to save time.
Yeah.
And Rachel's context window is like, what's happening here?
Yeah.
I've reached the stage of hallucination.
Okay, testing is testing. I will let it test. I'll let it verify the Python modules. Okay. Whatever.
And actually, I found this is something quite new this week or so, where I see that the Claude Code actually writes its own test without you prompting it. Yeah. So that was something new I noticed recently. In the past, I would have to say, go write a test to test what you just wrote. And that's how we usually test the code, right? Because it's you have predetermined scenarios and you want to make sure that the code does what you tell it to do. Yeah. So there are also other ways of developing where people now they don't have the test, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Classic
realized.
pipeline. Yeah, what I mentioned earlier.
Okay, it has this. So let me just see what I did. No entropic key found.
You have to copy and paste yours.
Okay, open the. So basically, I'll ask it to create the .env file and open it for me now. No coding or anything else. And then I'll just get it to kind of open the file for me so I can paste it in. And that's also sometimes I get quite confused as to where to find the .env file because I don't really look at the file folder structure. But if I were to look at this, it's quite
VS
clear.
Code open. Yeah. Just open VS Code.
So yep.
Maybe just to show.
I'll open it here. This file. This is. Some
zoom
people call this an IDE or I don't know what it's called.
Integrated development environment.
Yeah. And then basically I'll paste these keys in, which I will not show on screen. So I'll just drag it down. Okay. And these keys are basically going to allow me to. And how to get these keys? If you don't know, you just ask Claude Code. But also you can just Google it and you log in and you create a key, you copy it, and then you paste it in. Does that sound simple enough?
Yes.
Yeah. Hopefully it does. But yeah, I'm just going to take some time to kind of paste the keys in. So I already made the key before this. So,
But if you read what's on the screen now, Wachel, right, you can see that Claude Code has already created all the things that you said you will create in that short amount of time. So that's what's amazing, because this project would probably have taken way longer in the past, like for an engineering team or even a developer to write. Yeah.
okay, how to create Telegram bot token and chat ID?
Actually, we're jumping too fast already, Eric. If you do this, you're gonna have a lot of problems. We should first test the code first.
Okay. Okay.
We should
so
test
I'll
the code
ignore this first. I have already put in the news data and Anthropic API key. So let's test it out. Okay, let me prompt that in.
In fact, what I'll do, okay, anyway, I would have split the screen and do more crazy things at the same time.
Okay. What will you do, Yaohong?
Actually, I'll run multiple Claude windows. So while I'm setting up the Telegram bot, I'm actually checking the code. Because anyway, you have to wait. Like now you're waiting, right? You could be doing something else.
Yep. So how will you do that in a Claude instance? Let me just put this to the side and then I'll open another one.
Just open
and then make the font very big.
You can use another software next time.
Okay. Do you use Terminus, is it?
I use WAP.
WAP, okay.
But some folks, they use other choices. So it's really up to
I really hate Claude Code's team needs to fix their spacings.
That's the side effect of in the terminal.
Yeah. But
so anyways, just open Claude again.
So I will just run Claude. So Wachel, you can see the second screen, right? Okay. So wait, what do you say?
Give me the instructions for setting up the Telegram bot.
Okay. Okay.
Paste it in the right place, That's how you multitask.
Okay.
I mean, you can watch Netflix also if you really want.
Yeah. So as you can see, right?
Not ideal if you're in the office.
I have this app that I really like. It's called Rectangle. I don't know. There are probably better ones where I can kind of
Rectangle is fine. Rectangle is okay.
Where I can kind of arrange it. So some people run like a few more or many more of these terminals. So how to create the bot? Open Telegram on your phone. Search for the bot father, and then say new bot / new bot. And then it will ask you for a name. So I'll call it the Wachel ESG briefing. And then I will create the bot name, which I'll just copy and paste Wachel ESG bot. And then it will return a long token, which looks very scary, but I'll just copy it and not be too scared. And then I'll add this token to that .env file, which I am opening on my other thing. So
I see the most interesting step. Get Wachel to message the bot.
Yeah, once it's set up, you can do that already.
Yes, finally something I understand.
All right. And then the Telegram chat ID will be... Okay, I will be the one messaging the bot so that... So I'll find the bot. A lot of it is kind of Wachel ESG. I found a Wachel ESG bot. It exists, and you can try it too, Wachel. I'm gonna send it to you.
Open your Telegram and try to find.
Okay. Okay. So now I can show this. Voila. And I'll click start. Oh, so big. What's happening? Okay. And then after I do this. Yeah, this is what I don't want on the podcast, Yaohong. Like, it's so long.
What?
It's so mafan. But this is the pain that you have to go through. It's not magic. Okay, so send any message. Hi. And then this is required the bot can message someone I hadn't talked to. Find the chat ID. Run this in your terminal, which I'll copy, and then I'll press Command N to open the terminal and make the font very big again. And then I'll just run this. Oh, okay, I guess I need to get into the
correct folder again.
correct folder.
Actually, you can just press up. No need to copy and paste. Press up. There you go.
Okay.
You can tap also. Tap, yeah, it's faster.
Okay. And then I'll run the Python. And then no messages found. Oh. What's happening? Did I copy the chat wrongly? Long string. Okay,
Maybe the code is not working yet. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm just going to put it here.
Actually, I would say, I think your other process is stuck already.
It's what?
It's stuck.
It's stuck.
Yeah, you see the number of tokens is not moving.
Oh yeah. So I will press escape.
Escape, yeah.
And then, why are you stuck? Please.
No, don't do that. Don't do that. That's wasting tokens.
Okay.
Just what we'll do now is to write. Tell me how you. We need to test the applications, the code that we have written. Plan out what needs to be tested and show me the plan. So always go through planning first. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So now like the way we talk to the agents or the AI is kind of like talking to people and getting them to do things. It's kind of similar. Yeah.
It does feel like you're talking to the intern who's gonna build this.
Yes, and you just assume that intern not very smart, but they can do things very fast, right? Yeah. So now you can start debugging, right? I message and it can't work. Yeah. What's happening here?
So I'm just saying I message it can't work, and then I kind of copy and paste the error in, and then I'll let the right side one do it. Here's the testing plan: fetch only, classify only, doc generation only, full pipeline. Which one do we do?
Ask it to write proper tests. Yeah. Write proper test for this. Write
a proper test. Actually, I would like it to just immediately show how it works already. Because we are running out.
You know why? You know why? Because if you make it work, it might not work, and then you're gonna start debugging like what's happening on the right side.
Okay. Okay, write a proper test. Then once solved, show us how it works. 5 minutes left for the episode. Although I will waste tokens by saying that it'll be like, what episode? It's probably
you'll be
doing
confused
a podcast.
what episode you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's why usually I'll run more windows lah. You just open another window and say run the code and show me. Yeah. Next episode we need to have a better setup for your screen. Yeah.
I have chat ID now. I'm going to yes.
Oh yeah, see there you go, you fixed it. Yeah.
And then I'll paste the chat ID into here. Wachel, I'm going to show it to you. Don't tell anyone. These are my API keys, which I'll remove.
Yeah, you need to censor from the.
I just copy and pasted it there. It's very simple. And I'll just save the file. Command S. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Then you can do /new again.
To clear it. Okay, sure. I'll just clear it for fun. Okay.
Then we can actually.
All right.
Start running. Oh, there you go.
Wachel, we have a news briefing today.
Wow.
But we need to check whether the data is correct or not.
Why can't I zoom in? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. This is 26th of February.
Okay, you got the date right.
Okay. Congratulations. The date was right.
Actually, don't need to manually test. You can ask it to test for you.
The third one is correct. Because I read that today.
All right.
Cool.
Amazing.
Okay, yeah, it's correct. Okay.
Cool. Yeah.
Okay. And Yaohong, of course, Yaohong's idea was you can ask Claude Code to test.
Claude to test the file. Yeah.
How would that work? What do you mean?
Okay, so on the right side, right? Okay, on the right side, you have the file name. You type add, type add, and then what's the file name?
ESG news.
Okay,
ESG news.
Okay.
Oh.
Hmm?
Oh,
Where do you save the file?
I have no idea. Okay. It's
Okay, good.
in,
Now it's writing test. Okay, sorry.
go here. Okay, I think we are running out of time. We have
Okay.
2 more minutes left. So, sorry, I'm being a bit anxious here.
Okay, so what you can do here, one last step is to go through every link in the file and check that the source exists. Yep.
Okay. Okay, now where's my telebot? On the left.
It's okay, the Telegram was a stretch goal and
It's okay. We have
now
we
you
have
can
60 seconds. We have
you
60
can ask it
seconds.
to-
We're gonna do it. I already made the bot and token all in.
Oh, you're shouting at the
ENG.
computer now. Yeah.
I'm
Right side
showing.
press yes. Right side press yes. Yeah.
Okay, yes and yes.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
Okay, we have 30 seconds. Got your chat ID. Thank you for showing it to the world. The chat ID is already there. Now can I send to Wachel the bot? And it works. As you can see, my English is not very good. So, all right,
There you go.
Wachel.
There you go. The file
We
is
have
in
this
Telegram.
now.
Yeah.
Okay, make it such that when someone new enters, they can press share the news and it will share past 24 hours. Okay, I might be messing this up because it adds
it's
a lot.
okay.
But it's 1 hour now, Wachel.
Yeah.
Let's just be very honest with our audience that, this is where we got to.
Wow, but I'm very amazed by the output though. The accuracy of it.
It's actually correct. Right.
Okay, it's quite a lot, but yeah.
Wow.
So
That's a lot of news.
Oh my gosh. It's
This is
getting-
life changing. Oh my goodness.
It's getting a bit overwhelming. It's like,
Well, I think we can improve, of course. But at least we made it work and read news
yeah.
to pull out the headlines.
Yeah.
Subsequent steps will be actually to analyze the news and process it.
Yeah. Sorry for making you dizzy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Analyze the news and process it. Oh, it's taking over my job.
Yeah, I think you can do something else after that. Like how do you use the news to talk to your clients? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, as you said, right? I think, Wachel, like the main thing that you really want to be doing is the insights, right? And then of course there's a lot of manual work you have to do with your clients and all that kind of stuff, like the people side of things.
Nice. Tap the button to get your ESG.
You.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Okay.
So every morning it will generate like a.
Not yet. I think now is not exactly.
Okay, Rachel, I just sent you the bot so you can click it.
Okay.
Yeah. Before we end this, like, are there any reflections, right, on like what you just saw, or anything that exceeded or did not hit your kind of expectations? When it comes to people talking about AI, how did it kind of change your views?
I think one thing that surprised me was how easy it was to build this Telegram / Word document output that we've been trying to build. I think I've been struggling with that for like the past 1 month now, but we did it in 1 hour. I think the speed at which we did it was very scary.
But we need to put in some caveats first.
Yeah.
Right. It's right now it's running on a local computer. Right. So it's not like you can activate the bot anytime. So you actually would have to. The next step is to actually deploy this somewhere, and then it's running on a schedule every day. Right. And of course, later you still need to worry about security and infrastructure. But it's not too difficult. I can ask Claude to help you for the next step. Yeah, still got 20% more. Yeah, that's 20%. But we got 80% done in 1 hour. So I think that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
That's the amazing part. And also the scary part.
Yeah.
Thank you for this experience though.
All good. We hope you enjoyed it. Of course, there's a lot more that you can explore, and I hope that this isn't a session where you see how smart like Yaohong and I are. What we hope for you is also like for you to just play around with these tools on your own, right? Because I personally feel like, we had that ChatGPT moment, and I think we're having a Claude Code moment where, people were okay paying $30, like maybe 2 years ago, or maybe like even recently. And then,
Actually, in Claude now, if you have the desktop application, you can have access to Claude Code already.
Yeah.
So you don't need to really use the scary screen technically lah. You don't have all the commands, but you can actually have a less scary interface, and they are rapidly improving it. And the scary thing is that Claude is using itself to write itself, right? Or rather, the engineers are using Claude to write whatever you're seeing now. And the improvements that they have is actually pretty fast.
Yeah. Almost like 90 or 100%, I think, of Claude Code's code is being written in English. So yeah, I mean, I think, Wachel, we just really hope that this inspires you to kind of build your own stuff. I think this is just really scratching the surface. I believe this is probably less than 20% of your actual work. Like there's still so much to do. And there's a lot that I think companies can do to evolve as well. That banks can do. I think banks are pouring in like a lot of money, more than most organizations, because they're very rich. Of course, depends on which bank you're in, but there's a lot of opportunities there, to be like a champion, to kind of help people cope with the kind of transition as well. I think the further ahead we can be in this, the better we can be in helping people work through what the new future looks like. I think Yaohong and I, we also have no idea how that's going to turn out. But we just hope this inspired you.
It did.
But we shouldn't let it rest here lah. Maybe you need to take this code and put it up there and deploy it.
Yeah.
And then at least your colleagues now can use this every day.
Yeah.
That would be amazing though. Like,
so we shouldn't just leave it now like done or very nice, but we definitely need to help you or at least Eric is gonna help you deploy.
Wow, thanks Eric. I need to buy you coffee already.
Coffee not enough this one. Not coffee.
Okay, lunch.
No lah. No. Thanks for coming on this episode with us. Right, I think it takes a lot of bravery to do that. To put yourself out there, to try something new. And that also means a lot to us.
At the junior level, it's like we need to be competitive. We need to know how to get to the next level. And with AI disrupting so much of the future, the way that our seniors work will be very different from the way we work now. So I see this gap in terms of where analysts like me need to bridge. We not only need to support the day-to-day now, but we also need to think about how to automate and look forward to the future. So I think this episode really opened my eyes on what can be done.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I think one thing to encourage you is also that even if you are afraid of code, which I am, like I'm actually very afraid of whatever I just saw, like in terms of like comfort level, but I just asked like, what does that mean, right? It has come to a stage where it can explain to you what it is doing, and actually for our very normal human brains, we can actually like learn a lot now. And I think senior management being more archaic, I think that's also by nature. Like for Yaohong, he I mean, as someone a bit older, like I think it's hard for someone to keep up with all the change that's happening. But for like fresh uni grads, there's also an opportunity there for people like, I mean, we are not super fresh, but for younger people to be very AI native, in a way that we are all very native on Instagram and Facebook, and watching out for scams. Like it comes as instinct, right, to us. So I think that very much can be us as younger folks. Not saying that not discriminating, but I think what we can do as people is just to keep up with the latest trends, whether young or old, and then we'll also be able to keep our eyes open as we kind of figure out how to do things well. I think AI literacy is quite important, and not in a way that replaces jobs, but also like kind of figures out what that new job looks like. But of course, in different places, you'll take different amounts of time. You'll hear a lot of hype in the tech world because that's where things move really fast. But we never know how fast it will reach us. It's just, up to doing our best and then trusting that humanity will lead us to a good place on a more like cosmic level, and maybe trusting in God in some divine way that everything will still be okay. Yeah.
I think the jobs will still be there. It just have a different nature to it. And having these skill sets will keep you more valuable, right?
So as Yaohong said, I'll have to deploy this bot for you so you can use it with your team. Give me some time for that. And
that's what I'm good at, enrolling people to do things.
That's why Yaohong is the boss, right?
Yeah, that's why all the agents listen to me. Yeah, agents all listen to me. I know what to do.
Yeah, Yaohong can do what I did today in one prompt, probably.
No, I don't do it in one prompt, but I do it in multiple steps at the same time.
Yeah.
So I probably would have at least 4 windows open and running 4 things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Won't it crash your laptop? I mean, if I were to open like 4 Excel at once.
That's why you buy a more expensive laptop.
No, and also no. Actually, all that's you see, right, in terms of the real hard work that's going on in terms of the compute, it's actually happening on Anthropic servers.
Yeah, correct.
So actually, our Macs are taking it very lightly.
But actually, if you have no internet, then suddenly you feel like you cannot do anything.
Yeah,
right?
So there's dependence as well. You need to watch out for that.
Not great also lah.
Yeah.
So the downside is that you become more AI native, but you might also become more reliant on it. And in some cases, if you don't think or process what you're reading, you just press enter. Yeah, and that is the part where it gets dangerous.
Wow, we're going down a rabbit hole, guys. So this is why I actually have a Sunday AI Sabbath, and that's also related to faith, right? Like, I completely disconnect from any form of AI, even if it's like traditional AI. So that just keeps me a bit more grounded. And I think as you saw, Wachel, like you might end up getting, you get your work done fast, but you get it done fast at a huge amount of like information, right? So that can be very overwhelming, I think, when teams become AI native. So people like Yaohong would be super stressed out reading a lot of code now, even though he's not coding. And that's the new kind of work, right? Like you get more work to do, but in a different form as well. So yeah, that's why I take a Sunday Sabbath to rest and detox from AI.
All right.
I think we all need that.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right.
That's a very
Thank
good
you so
advice. I
much.
think I need to do that also. Yeah.
But yeah, all right. Thanks so much, Wachel. Thanks for joining us.
Right.
Have a good
Thank you for joining
evening.
us.
Thanks, Yaohong. Thanks, Eric.
Right, thank you.
See you.
It was a very fun session.
Great.
Nice. Yeah, that's what we wanted. Yeah.
Thanks so much for joining us for this episode where we built the ESG scraper with Wachel and Yaohong. If you found this helpful, feel free to leave us a rating on your favorite podcasting apps, or like, share, subscribe on YouTube. And just feel free to reach out if you have anything you want to chat about, or if you want to get into the next episode, feel free to fill out the form as well. So yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Really appreciate that you even made it to the end. And see you on our next episode. Bye.